You're traveling through to another dimension. A dimension of sight. A dimension of sound. A dimension of cheapness. A journey into a lawless land whose boundaries are that of greediness and deceit. Your next stop, the bargain aisle.
Knockoff board games are the order of the day because, board games really are quite an expensive hobby to get into, apparently. That really hasn't been my experience. I feel like what you pay typically for board games, 15, 20, 30 bucks at the worst, typically is rewarded with how much entertainment you get out of them. And also, you own them forever. You don't have to worry about them getting delisted off some online store or not being on a streaming service. It is a physical thing that you own forever, and it brings a lot of entertainment with it that you can enjoy over and over again. And if you don't want to buy it brand new, most of these I bought at the thrift store for $3 to $5 a piece. So, $3 to $5 a piece, you can either get a used, recognizable board game, or you can get something like these. So that's the conceit of today's video, to see if these knockoff board games that I got from Five Below are suitable equivalents to the big name Parker Brothers, Hasbro, Milton Bradley extravaganza. But to protect myself from these games, I am going to wear some protection for this reason specifically, for this visual gag that I had planned. Not because the camera I originally used crapped out on me and I'm doing this to avoid doing lip sync. So the first one we've got here is Blending In. This is, of course, an homage to Big Potato Games' The Chameleon. They've even got similar sort of print, although you'd never be able to tell because instead of green, they went for orange, and they added some lenticular effect on there. Ooh! You see, this version of the game alleges to be 14 plus, but this one is only 6 plus, so at least they kept the kiddos in mind here. In the original game, you get some eyesores of cards. The object of the game is to lie to your friends. So what it actually is you play with a group of people and someone is randomly assigned to be the chameleon. And what that means is that they're not clued in on the category of which your other friends are also clued in on. So they will be seeing a matrix of words like this, and the person that doesn't know the category needs to essentially read the room and bluff what they believe to be the category. You roll a die, word is randomly assigned. You failed! It also comes with sanctimonious, I used to be plastic paper wrappings. That's why the whole game keeps dismantling in your box. But at least you saved a kitten or whatever the hell. Already looking at the box, it seems quite flagrant that they're copying it. I mean, to go as far as to copy the box dimensions and general theming feels like it could have been less obvious had they not just actually gone for it. It feels intentionally deceptive. Oh, they have their own heroic paper wrappings instead. Although looking at it now, it looks like Blending In kind of misunderstood the assignment. They just saw that Chameleon had the paper wrappings. They're like, whoa, we'll copy that. And failed to notice that the Chameleon also has cardboard packaging, and these guys still use the plastic. Both of them still have a plastic pen, though, because I guess nothing fucking matters anymore. It appears to be literally the same thing. The only significant difference is the whiteboard you're given to write topics on is about 1/50th the size it used to be. But, I mean, if you can handle that, I'd say this is totally a buy. I mean, the whole game appears to be here in its entirety. It's just a quarter of the price. So if you can handle the humiliation and shame you would receive from your friends for posting up with Blending In instead of the Chameleon, then I'd say it's a buy. Sit there sipping your Sam's Club soda, eating your twist and shouts. You are, of course, also missing out on the famous big potato games sticker that comes with all of them. So if you can even fucking live with that, then I'd say it's a buy. Now this next one here is masquerading itself as an equivalent to perfection. Now you might be saying, well, they look totally different. I mean, they didn't invent the shapes and holes genre of gaming. They didn't patent that as far as I know, dumbass. But if you actually peek behind the candelabra, you see that Milton Bradley at the time did release a smaller version of Perfection with 16 holes instead of however many they have in the current version. And this one seems to be a pretty blatant dead ringer to it, so let's give the original a shot and see how it goes. Now, consistently, I have multiple copies of Perfection. The thing that breaks the most is the actual tray loading down. So, moment of truth. I think it's in. Alright. It already popped. Ah! Well, as far as I can tell, they're not making this specific version, so if you're looking for a more portable form factor for whatever reason, to take Perfection with you on the go, then this might be a solution to you. Now, what's interesting about the title they chose, Scramble, is that there's another Perfection ripoff that I also own that is also called Scramble. Now, how's that for a coincidence? And you're saying, oh, last I checked, Perfection didn't have 2 trays in it, dumbass. Again, you guys keep doubting me. I know everything. What was the point of this video? There we are. Sealed to be contained from the rest of the world. Let's contaminate it. Read first. Press the switch to the red button side. Slide the timer marker with the arrow all the way over to the left. Press the middle spot of the center tray downwards until you hear a click noise, and then the tray locks in the down position. I feel like Perfection's like in your carnal urges as an American citizen, right? Is it not? It's on the citizenship test, I'm pretty sure. So already this switch feels like it is going to snap within 6 uses. It definitely locks in smoother. Yeah, I know, I ripped the resealable zipper off of the bag here, so now I've voided my warranty and will be excommunicated from the board games industry. Alright. Last one was a warm-up round, but now, it's the true test.
This is the last hurrah. If I failed this, I'd die. I'd die in a bad moment.
That was more violent than the other one, I guess. I mean, this one's 20 years older, and many of the other older Perfections seem to have some wear and tear on them, so if you need one for cheap, that definitely works. I mean, Perfection's a game that's prone to failure. I own 2 copies of Superfection here, for example. Neither of them work. If you need something new and crisp, I guess go with this, but this one, I mean, like I said, this switch here feels very brittle and firm and difficult to switch. So I wouldn't say this is a buy. I'd say that it's worth getting a current copy of Perfection, and especially a current copy of Perfection, because, you know, despite the recent enshittification of board games cheaping out, Sorry giving you less pawns, the Game of Life giving you less and less pieces, Perfection here actually innovated the formula and allows you to switch the combination, because obviously when you have a fixed game like this, you're gonna memorize the pieces and where they go. But with this one, with 250 tray variations, I mean, the fun just can't stop there. Definitely buy the original. And not only the original, the current copy of the original. Putting them side by side really exposes just how similar they are. They even have the same sort of slide tray mechanism, but this one you can have a better time closing them up. So this next one is an interesting one. So Parker Brothers at the time, before they were absorbed by Hasbro, thought of a great spin on the Sorry formula. Because we've all been there when we were playing Sorry and wish, what if like you had Sorry and then you added Shuffleboard and then you removed Sorry? Sorry sliders, this was, I believe, $20 when it came out, and I think now is $30. Now, because this is a used copy I got, it was $5, so we're going to be comparing this to the brand new $5 Ludo launch. Now that's clever. We got 4 little scoring region DMZ type maps here for endless fun. That is, if your definition of endless is 4. So the way this game works is, you know, ideally you'd have other people. You take your little pawn, go woo! And you try not to do it like a fucking retard. And the highest scoring region that it is touching, by the end of the round, you will get to move one of your pawns forward that many spaces in your little home board here. It was a game that was very fun when you were a child and didn't appreciate strategy or not being a child. So it's very fun as a child to go, whoa! Yeah! But as an adult, I mean, I don't want to bust this out. I'm not even saying that this is trying to be something for adults like you and I, you know, the primary demographic for board games. But I'm just saying, you know, I'm an adult, and speaking as an adult, Sorry Sliders, I'll say it, it sucks. There, it's out there, sue me. Let's see how it stacks up to Ludo Launch. So already it does one of my favorite things that board games do. You know how board games tend to open up and then you have 2 pieces of the box? This one is innovative and makes the box one thing. And I know a lot of board games do this, even big shot ones, but I don't like it because it makes it very awkward to store it, especially with how much shit there is in. Holy God. These feel like the cheapest pieces of toilet paper that have ever been sold in retail. So instead of 4 different combinations, you are getting 1 board. So it is 1/4 the amount of content already for 1/4 of the price. And they're really not doing you any favors in any of this. You are completely in charge here. You're a big boy now. You're gonna pop the tabs out of your Ludo Launch. They're not gonna do it for you. You're gonna cut up your own steak. You're gonna wipe your own mouth. You're gonna bathe yourself, and you're gonna take the tabs out. Grow the fuck up. Now, something that is absolutely awesome here is that they've chosen to crease the trays that they use. Now, I've not used this yet, but I would anticipate that because they have creased these, it is going to affect the trajectory of my Ludo launchers. It's actually pretty difficult to tell which has to go with which here, but I mean, it could be that I'm mentally disabled, really having a hard time figuring this out, and this was not a problem I had with Sorry Sliders. That was grab and go, baby. Nothing comes popped out here. You doing all the work here setting this up. And also, in the original Sorry Sliders, you would get bumpers for the empty zones. So, if you're playing with 4 people, it's not a problem. But if you're only playing with 3, 2, or if you're just demonstrating for this video like myself, you're using 1. Obviously, as you just saw me do, you're not getting pawns like you did in the original miniature pawns. You're just getting Ludo discs. And same can be said about the Ludo sliders. A lot of fucking obnoxious people do that as a bit. That was not intentional. I just fucking threw them everywhere. I'm gonna be crying for days. Like, look at all this trash that's all over my table. Jesus Christ. What persona am I going for? So it's not like Sorry Sliders, it's worse. And that's impressive, because Sorry Sliders already wasn't really good. See, they don't sit level. The bearing that they use for the Ludo launcher is so much larger than they use on Sorry Sliders. Now, Sorry Sliders don't stand perfectly flat, but these just aren't even anything. Now, the crease isn't actually interfering as much, but it still is because it has to go over that crease on the launch pad. Definitely don't buy this one. I don't know what the manufacturing cost of Ludo launch is, but a good rule of thumb is that if they can't be bothered to give you 2 pieces of cardboard, it's not worth the effort here. Spend the extra money, get Sorry Sliders if your grandmother was on her deathbed and requested that you buy Sorry Sliders. You know, it's a common situation, I understand. This is going actually right in the trash. What's seeming to become the case as I'm packing these away is if a game is dealing with physical props, like Perfection or Ludo launchers here, to keep the costs down, they're gonna cheap out on the actual mechanics of the game for you. So I gave the Chameleon / Blending In a pass because all they had to do was print whiteboards, and they cheaped out on the size of the whiteboard, but other than that, that was fine. But these two, so far, have not justified their worth. Perfection, I guess you could give a pass, but this doesn't even close right. And when the other Perfection breaks, you know, that's $5 you could just flush down the toilet. So get the original for those two. I didn't even put all the fucking pieces away. There's so many of them. And the next one here is another physical game with physical props. Jill Protect the Penguin game. Now, this is an homage. I'm saying homage like this is just friendly exchange between movies or art or anything, and not plagiarism. As I've revealed, this is another game that won't bother to give you 2 pieces of cardboard. But I never said I liked this game either. Now, I will say I do like this game, but up until that point, you can't say I'm being hypocritical. Now, go ahead. Now, I'm actually missing the penguin that goes with this. Luckily, it's just called Don't Break the Ice. It doesn't specify a penguin. Ignore the picture. So I'll be using a rubber ducky instead. I mean... yeah, I mean... there's a good balance of how tightly the pieces fit to how loose they can become. There are points in this game, actually, that get pretty stressful, and something I like is that because it's squares, you can move the penguin's face anywhere you like. So it doesn't have to be the same layout anytime, and offers some variety upon replay. It reloads pretty fast. I mean, it's a good kids game, and you know what, I'd even say it's a good game to play as an adult if you have infantile enough friends. Luckily I don't, so they will never get to laugh at me for playing a child's game. Now what's interesting here is that this wasn't developed by the same publisher the last 3 games were, which was Games Hub. That seems to be Five Below's cheap board game slush fund tax evasion scandal. This is actually produced by Spin Master. Now they make some of the most well-known knockoff games. Another one they made is Yacht Dice, which you can currently find at Dollar Tree. Bit of a demotion there, but it's interesting because they are kind of a more official publisher. They also published this card game edition of Deal or No Deal on which they misspelled the word briefcase. Unless it really is a briefcase, I don't know. But typically they produce toys and not board games, but, you know, as I said, they've been known to do that. Now, the pictures on the box here, I've not been given a frame of reference, so, you know, you can say what you want about my assumptions here, but this is significantly smaller than I anticipated it being. So this spinner here is actually like plastic. They're spoiling us out here. I didn't even know if the original comes with a spinner. I don't think it's that necessary, but this one does, evidently. So let's put this together. I'm not giving you a resealable bag. They're not a charity, of course. Okay, alright. It's one of these memes. Now, they changed the original design from a grid of squares to this matrix of honeycomb hexagons here. I mean, you wouldn't think that'd be a problem, and I guess really it's not. But it makes this setting up a little harder here. Alright. Put the penguin on. Now this is cute. It's actually an ice pick. Zoo, protect the penguin game. Game start. Okay, see, it's fine. It's okay. It felt like it was a little harder to set up. But I mean, however much the original goes for, it probably goes for more. I think not only does this have a different sort of spin because it's a different pattern on it, because it's so much cheaper, I'll say this is a buy. Maybe get the original too, you know, if you need variety in it. But yeah, this one isn't a paperweight. It does have the thing where it is one cardboard box, but I'll give it a pass because Hasbro couldn't give us 2 boxes, so you know what? I'll give you a pass, Spin Master. And the next one, who is it? One of life's great mysteries. Now obviously this is a parody of Jeopardy! No. This is a knockoff of Guess Who, and this isn't the most modern copy of Guess Who that's out there, but I feel like it's the one it's trying to copy the most, sort of in theming and blocking of the covers. So on the original Guess Who, you know, Milton Bradley gives you 2 boxes, but it's simple to set up. You just... And there you go. You got a panel of people to eliminate. And this is an alternative to the game if Guess Who was just too expensive for you. So you could either buy this or Guess Who. Yeah, Five Below sells Guess Who. Fully official and fully branded. So, I mean, the advantage this has is that it's a full copy of it. But Guess Who is not a very expensive game, and, you know, because the whole game is self-contained in these 2 mechanisms here. Oh, fuck me, no, you're not. Oh my god. Yeah, man, they're not giving you any fucking breaks here. Milton Bradley would never. Hasbro might. But as I was saying, Five Below sells for the same price as this official Guess Who games. And Guess Who you can find at thrift stores pretty cheap usually. And if that's too hard, fucking McDonald's gives it away for free. This better be the time of my life. Score slider here. I feel like if I keep going with that, it's gonna start a fire. Oh, this is not fun at all. And you have to put the cards in too. This is so much setup. Nobody wants to do this. Whose favorite part of a new game is I can't wait to assemble all the fucking pieces so I can get Meredith in her little cell of eternity, forever damned to be yelled at by children. Does it have glasses? No. Does it have a beard? No. Now, something I mentioned earlier is how the setup to Guess Who is pretty easy. You just kind of Woo! Give it one of those and you're all good to go. But with the one I've installed already, put some WD-40 on that, my guy. This is not going anywhere no matter what you do to it. So, you know, considering goddamn Five Below sells Guess Who, by Guess Who. Who is it? None of my damn business. This is a joke. Look at this. Like, look at this. Again, this is another problem with these single box flap things, is that the pieces barely fucking fit in when you put them back. And then they become all fucking lumpy like this. And additionally, if you store your games vertically, like you tend to do if you have a lot of them. Thanks, Games Hub. Why am I putting this away so delicately, like I'm not going to return it in 5 minutes? What's funny is that I'm pretty sure even Dollar Tree sells their own paper and cardboard version of Guess Who. So there is absolutely no reason to even consider that. The final one we're going to be talking about here is the Hungry Turtles versus the Hungry Hippos. Take that. Now this is one of the more recent editions of Hungry Hippos. So, in spite of that, I don't have the marbles to it somehow. So I guess this version has a one-up on it, in that it is a nominally functional version of Hungry Hippos. Look at this. They've even got little names. That's so cute. I'm gonna see the names of the Hungry Turtles, so, you know, stay tuned for that. And if it's not Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, and Succadiccolio, then I think... Did you laugh? Okay, good. I didn't think so. Am I doing this wrong? I feel like this shouldn't do that. I mean, I'm gonna have to borrow the marbles from Hungry Turtles, actually. So this has that utility, at least. Oh, right out the box, it comes fully assembled. Oh, that's cute. They look cute. They don't have like any features on them. These ones have terrifying faces. So these really need a lot of force to get them to move, but this one's... Alright, so the marbles are getting jammed in it. This is after Hungry Hippos was added to the Elephun IP. I believe Mousetrap was also added in that, and Ants in My Pants, that's the one with the Dalmatian. Even though it wasn't originally part of that IP. Actually, an absurd amount of force, like... It sounds like I'm trying to come up with reasons to complain about the original. It has a little bit of assembly, you just kind of load these in like this. Kind of shove it in the ass of them. And war. You must fight for your feast. It seems the orange one's the alpha here. I mean, yeah, this is totally good. It needs so much less force, and also, it seems like it works better. Something that I'm sure everyone remembers, when you're playing Hungry Hippos, sometimes the hippo doesn't actually swallow it, because the mechanism it uses is it kind of cups outward and grabs it, then pulls it back. This one here, while it has that sort of cupping motion, it pulls it into a hole that's under it, underneath the tray. There's very little force to use it, which leads me to suspect that it's gonna last a decent amount of time, and if it breaks, it's $5. Just buy another one, so definitely go for Hungry Turtles. It looks so much cuter. I know that there's stickers that come with it. Don't put the stickers on. Such a quality of life improvement over this fucking nuisance. This might actually go in the trash after. I'm so serious. Shit. The player has become the game. As I was making this, I just realized that these trays are removable. So that way that you can then just pour them back in like that. Well, they kind of look like lily pads. I am aware that the Hungry Hippos original here has this sort of launching feature. I hate it so much I don't even want to pull it back out after I've packed it up. Where it will, for some reason, launch a marble back into the game. I've never seen anyone that even knows why that's a thing on here. That's absent from... Like, it can't even do that right. It can't even do that right. That's what I think of you, Hasbro Gaming, and Elefun and friends. Don't act like you played Elefun as a kid. You used that as a fan during the summer, at best. Moral of the story, generally, the best route to go for board games is thrift stores. Go for the original IP that you recognize if you're looking for a Snakes and Ladders, if you're looking for a Sorry, or a Game of Life, or another game that's behind me that I can't roll off the top of my head. Usually what you'll find is cheap cuts made to the original, especially when it's dealing with mechanical features. Now this one I actually was surprised by, that will break down and negate the point of buying the knockoff to begin with. The brand new $20 board game, sometimes it can't justify its own value. Go to the thrift store, but sometimes I feel like this is way better. This is seriously, you know, we'll use the rubber duck. I can play with my rubber duck. This one, it failed. Like an idiot. It wasn't the duck's fault, it was the yellow hippo's fault. As it always is. As it is wont to do. Did I hear someone call for a bonus round? See, this is another knockoff that I spotted at Five Below, but at the time I filmed my original video, I didn't have its counterpart, so I couldn't do the video on it. Times change fast, though. So this is Tapple. It's basically, you're given a category and you have a small amount of time to pick a word that starts with the letter that's remaining on this mechanism here. This is their own take on it. Make it quick. And I say take as in stolen because they stole the idea. But you'd never be able to tell because instead of making it blue, it's purple. And they've also added their own unique feature, a wild key. Wow, guys, you almost fooled me there. Now, apparently people fucking hate Tapple because while I picked this up for $20, there was an onion of price tags on it, revealing that they were selling it for as much as $40. It was very popular on YouTube for about 5 seconds, and then I think the YouTube space really expanded. And wow, this feels cheap. Oh, it needs batteries? Are you kidding me? Ain't nobody got time for that shit. Are you fucking joking? You're given 10 seconds to name something within the category you're given on these little cards. So it needs batteries in order to use it. I'd be surprised if this one does. Oh, it does. Well, forget me then. Let's see how it stacks up to Make It Quick. Now, considering that Make It Quick is an eighth of the price they were selling this at the peak, and even now it's still a quarter, I am tempted to side with it. Like Tapple, it also holds the cards in the base of it, so you can take this anywhere you want. These keys feel... they have a nice click to them. This one feels... I mean, it doesn't feel terrible, but it looks like it's basically the same thing. I'm gonna put batteries in these suckers, and we'll see how it turns out when we're actually playing it. Both of them take 2 AA batteries. Let's go. People. Oh, cool. We're gonna do famous singers. Oh no! I had such high hopes and you're DQ'd at the last second. Well, at the 11th hour, I am officially declaring Make It Quick DEAD. Dead. DQ'd. So I've taken Make It Quick apart here, given it some surgery, and there's a lot of weirdness going on here under the hood. So, for starters, they only have one side of the battery housing wired up, so they're only using the negative from one battery and the positive from another battery. Also, this whole button on the top here is meant for pushing that single point of failure there.
which does not seem that durable, considering that it showed up broken. But, with it taken apart here, will it work? Oh, well, there you go. It's just that the button literally cannot make contact with that consistently. That's a more pleasant timer, at least. Which, for some reason, in this version, is 14 seconds instead of 10 seconds. Is, I guess, just another thing to try and throw off the evil USAopoly. Well, now that I've taken this apart, this appears to work. But nobody's gonna bother with any of this shit. They're just gonna throw it away. So, if you want it guaranteed working right out the box, get the original. 20 bucks. It's got the whole game, and it's the real thing. You're not going to have the embarrassment of posting up with the knockoff Make It Quick.
Thank you so much for watching this incredibly extemporaneous video. Really hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next edition of Too Bored to Die. I just came with that name off the top of my head. Hopefully it sticks. Probably not. See ya.